Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Professor Anime, and welcome back to yet again another Boruto, Naruto Next Generations episode review. Today we're going to be discussing episode 56 of the Boruto anime, so without further ado, let us begin. So, if any of you were actually curious as to why I'm uploading this episode review of Boruto on a Thursday as opposed to a Wednesday like I usually do, well, that is because, if you have noticed in my previous episode reviews of Boruto, I kept on mentioning that there has been a time slot change in Japan, which is causing Boruto to end up coming out on Thursdays for us rather than Wednesdays. So, yeah. When it comes to the time slot change of Boruto, we can now expect Boruto to come out Thursdays from now on. And in this week's episode, it started with just that, as Boruto episode 56 came out on a Thursday. So from here on out, we're going to be expecting the entire series of Boruto to come out on Thursdays from now on, unless somehow there is, another notice, of a time slot change or something like that. So, yeah. So when it comes down to this episode of Boruto, this was a very simple episode as far as what it was contained. It was basically showing us the introduction to the Chunin Exams. The Chunin Exams have finally begun, and various students from various nations are appearing at the Hidden Leaf Village in which the Chunin Exams are taking place at. We have the Sand Village, the Cloud Village, other villages just going to the Hidden Leaf Village to participate in this Chunin Exams, and we finally see, new characters as well as these characters finally going through the means in order to actually progress through the exam. The exam finally begins, and we have about 2 tests that are shown in this episode, which basically ends the first phase of the exam. Now, I just gotta say this right now, when it comes down to the first phase of the Chunin Exams, I gotta say Naruto beats the first phase of the Chunin Exam by a landslide as opposed to the Boruto first phase of the Chunin Exam, because in the Boruto Chunin Exam, we kind of see, a timed event that kind of takes place within the first half of the first phase of the Chunin Exam. Sure, there are traps and whatnot that kind of make it difficult for, the students and whatnot, but, I mean, it's not anything as interesting as opposed to what happened in the Naruto first phase of the Chunin Exam, which I will get to in a bit. But, yeah, we kind of had a timed event playing through the first half of the first phase of the Chunin Exam within this episode of Boruto, and later in the second half of the episode is where essentially it was a true or false question that ultimately was just fake all along. Now, when it comes down to the Naruto first half of the Chunin Exam, in the first phase of the Chunin Exams within the Naruto series, it was so much more interesting because you actually had this battle of knowledge gathering and willpower. It was basically a test of intellect, so to speak. Now, sure, the way how Naruto was, he was kind of like basically very clueless as to what to do, but thankfully his team picked him up on that factor. But when it came down to the first phase of the Chunin Exams, it set up something really interesting because this was something that didn't rely on, action-heavy scenes. It was something that was more of like a mind game and tricking the enemy. Is this information that this person is using, actually the right information? Should I steal this information and use it to my own advantage? The first half was just so much more interesting. In this, it was just kind of, I don't know, I didn't really care much for it because really, I mean, when it comes down to these kids in general, they are smart kids in general. I mean, sure, we had some smart kids in the Naruto series, but when it comes down to the new generation, I don't know, I think they just have it a little bit more easier than the previous generation, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just, this series is kind of a watered-down version of Naruto, so I really can't complain much. But yeah, at the end of the episode, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki eventually pass the exam, and then we have it to where at the conclusion of this episode, Boruto swears upon to his father that he will end up passing the second phase of the exam and will make, Naruto eventually acknowledge Boruto, even though you know, in this case, Naruto does in fact acknowledge Boruto. It is his son after all, but we all know the mindset of Boruto. I don't really need to get into that. I've gotten into that in previous reviews and whatnot. But yeah, it was good to see, you know, a little father and son sort of, you know, dynamic. At least when it comes down to their chemistry play out, it seems to be slightly improving. Slightly, and I think that mainly has to do with what Sasuke said to Boruto in the previous episodes. But yeah, it seems as though it is slightly improving. It is. Even if it's only subtle. But yeah, when it comes down to what we can expect for the future of the Chunin exams, well, since I saw the movie, I'm not trying to give any spoilers out, but when it comes down to the movies, Chunin exams, and then what we saw in, you know, the Naruto series when it comes down to the Chunin exams, I gotta say, when it comes down to the tests overall, I would have to say Naruto probably wins, you know, Boruto out of the water. It blows Boruto out of the water when it comes down to Naruto's Chunin exams, in my personal opinion, at least. It was far more interesting than what was contained within the Boruto series, but hey, with the new material that Masashi Kishimoto will be adding within this movie, it could get a little bit more interesting throughout, but that's probably mainly going to be with the whole Momoshiki sort of thing that is going on, you know, the Otsutsuki clan. That is what's going to make this Chunin exam in Boruto interesting, rather than the Chunin exams overall. In terms of the Chunin exams overall, I would say that Naruto wins. But anyway, that's my personal thoughts and opinions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below what you guys thought about this episode. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Just let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Hit the red subscribe button down below if you want to see more. And with that said, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.